China's V-shaped recovery has been nothing but spectacular. Due to the low base in 2020, we see 2021 GDP growth at about 7.5% and a very possible double-digit growth in Q1. Also, thanks to the government's incentives and the government's capability to mobilize resources for the resumption of business, China's export has been performing very well. A global recovery is now gathering speed at a pace that's sufficient to boost China's export resilience in 2021. The investment sector has recovered strongly in last year, but the trend may not continue in 2021, as the government will be reluctant to continue to promote through increasing leverage and stay away from large infrastructure. Instead, the government may likely to focus on improving the quality of growth. First, by addressing the uneven recovery between investment and consumption through more effort to support small medium enterprises and consumers in 2021. We are looking for a very strong year for this year. First, the key effort is to expand domestic demand, which is the strategic foundation of China's new development pattern. China is developing new consumption models to enhance traditional consumption, to foster new consumption, and to integrate online and offline consumption. Second is to accelerate scientific and technological innovation, which is central to unlock the domestic economic cycle and shaping China's active position in the global economy. China will need to increase investment into basic science, stimulate the innovation vitality of talent, improve systems and mechanisms for innovation. And digital innovation is also extremely important. Third is to continue to improve the quality of open up by allowing more investment into China. China's signing of RCEP and China-Europe CAI is to continue to improve our relationship with other partners to further liberalize the investment and market access. For the last few years, the Chinese government has put in tremendous amount of effort to improve the business environment, including in market access areas. And in 2020, the foreign investment law and its implementation regulation has been effective. So how are the foreign investors respond to such new rules and regulations? I think in general, with many of the surveys through the foreign chambers, the response is quite positive, but still there are areas of improvement. President Xi's speech at the 25th anniversary of the World Conference on Women in Beijing back in 2020 actually is very aspirational. He calls for the global leaders' support to make a real of the gender equality. And he also very focused on talking about having a very inclusive and diversified society is really our common goal. So I think a few suggestions from us. One is, I think as a country, from regulation and from government perspective, we do need to look at how we can systematically address issues like women in top business leadership positions, to encourage companies to disclose and look at those issues to be not just a good thing to do for a woman leadership position to increase, but really as a good business thing to do and a good, obviously, societal things to do. The second is obviously to continue to increase the confidence level of women in areas that we may be labeled as traditionally not good at, which obviously is not the case in reality. But how can we, from schools to working environment, to continue to increase and to encourage women to really take equal opportunities? The third one, I think, is also looking at companies to share more best practices to how to help women and men to have more of inclusive policies to take care of work and life. China's announcement for its 30-60 carbon neutral pledge is very encouraging. and obviously shows throughout the 14th five-year plan how to integrate sustainability and green development into every walks of our society. So it is not just the government's role, it is also our citizens and our corporate's responsibility to really work towards the same common goal. From government perspective, what we are really looking for the government to think about is how to make sustainability to be a topic of innovation, to optimize R&Ds in this area, to make this to be a competitive edge for the country. And then for the companies, I think it's even more key to look at sustainability and carbon neutral not as a risk, but really again as an opportunity to look at whether there's new models, new product, new way of engaging with the consumers, particularly the new generation consumers are very willing to buy product that has a sustainability intent, has a circular economy intent.